One other thing we need to cover, and that is the consequences of this act. And of course, we have Yahweh walking through the garden, and Yahweh discovers the disobedience. He lines up the three individuals who have broken his laws, and he dispenses punishment to each of them. I'll begin with chapter 3. I'll start with verse 9. Yahweh God called the man and said to him, "Where are you?" And he said, "I heard the sound of you in the garden. I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself." "Who told you you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree in which I commanded you not to eat?" And here it comes. The man said, "The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me the fruit of the tree, and I ate." So Adam, continuing this passive, rather weak portrait of male human beings that's painted in this chapter, he defers the blame, and he says, first of all, he blames the woman. He says, "The woman, she's the one who gave it to me. It's all her fault." And then he actually points the blame at God, because he says, "The woman whom you made for me." So he pushes the blame, deflects the blame off of himself onto both the woman and God. Then the Lord turns to the next person, and he says, verse 13, Yahweh God said to the woman, "What is this that you have done?" The woman said, "The serpent beguiled me, and I ate." And then Yahweh gives a series of curses. First, a curse to the serpent. We're not concerned with that in this class. It doesn't necessarily pertain to gender, at least not directly. But then to the woman, verse 16, he said, "I will greatly multiply your pain in childbearing. In pain you shall bring forth children. Yet your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you." Let's break that down a little bit. We have as the curse for the woman, first and foremost, pain in childbearing. And here we have, among other things, the first mention of the connection of women as primarily understood through the processes of birth and motherhood. And a woman is attacked here in her body. She experiences pain, terrible pain, doing that which, according to Israelite society, she has been designed to do. I mentioned in the first tape, and I feel certain we've mentioned it in the first class as well, that the woman is the one who is primarily defined by means of her the processes of birth and motherhood. And here it's Yahweh attacks her at that very basis. But moving on, she has pain in childbirth, but we are told that her desire is for her husband. Now, this is a difficult part of the verse to interpret. Because on the one hand, are we saying that her desire for her husband, and the reference here is to sexual desire, is that part of the curse? Or is the curse the pain in childbearing, which is so severe that the woman would not dream of approaching her husband unless she had this overwhelming, passionate desire for her husband that she couldn't help it? And here we have introduced for the first time the theme of a woman's sexual desire, which is very seldom portrayed in a positive way in the Hebrew Bible. It's always something that's a problem, something that's a danger. So is the desire the curse, or is the desire that which forces her to get pregnant so that she will experience the pain in childbearing where she wouldn't unless she had this desire? Notice that the man's desire for the woman is not even addressed here. But most interestingly is the last comment. Your desire shall be toward your husband, and he shall rule over you. Now, in the previous two sections that we've talked about, that of the creation as something hierarchical, that is, the woman is created second, subsequent to the man, which might suggest a hierarchy, but then again might not. I've heard it said that, well, God worked on the man first, and then when he got it right, then he made the woman. You could read it a few different ways. Sometimes the first thing is the most important, and frequently the last thing is the most important. So the order of the creation of the man and the woman in this second version of creation is ambiguous in what it might be saying about the establishment of a male-female hierarchy. The second place is in the fact that the woman ate the fruit first and then the man. And that might suggest that the woman is either more evil or more weak or more prone to temptation than the man. It might mean that because the woman was the strongest barrier to the humans eating the fruit, that the serpent attacked the woman first. If the serpent could convince the woman to eat the fruit, then the man would just kind of go along automatically. Isn't that counterintuitive? Isn't that exactly the opposite of what we would expect in an ancient patriarchal text? Wouldn't we expect that the man would be the stronger and the serpent would have to work through the man and then go to the woman? Well, yeah, you can argue that, well, maybe the serpent waited till the man wasn't around and then attacked the woman as the weak link. But there's no indication that the man wasn't there. And as soon as the man sees that the woman has eaten the fruit, he immediately follows suit and eats the fruit as well. So we can understand that part of the story as indicating that the woman is rational, the woman is smart, the woman is articulate, and the man is just a wimp who goes along with whatever the woman says. So in terms of hierarchy, that is ambiguous. And I might add in connection with that, that at the very end of chapter 2, which is the creation story, it says, verse 23, chapter 2, verse 23, the man said, "This at last is bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman," and that's Isha, "because she was taken out of man." The word for man there is Ish. So we have Ish and then Isha, and this is the part I wanted to stress. "Therefore, a man leaves his father and his mother and cleaves to his wife, and they become one flesh." And this is odd and not actually the cultural practice as we are aware of it. Most commonly, when we see in the Hebrew Bible descriptions of marriages between two families, it's the woman who leaves her father's house and joins her husband's family. But here, in this early chapter of Genesis, we're told that it's the man who leaves his father and his mother and joins himself to his wife. So once again, in these early creation narratives, the hierarchy is ambivalent. It's not really clear that it's establishing a hierarchy where the man is over the woman. That is until the curse in chapter 3. Because the curse in chapter 3, the first part of the curse that's given to the man is, "Her desire shall be for him, and he shall rule over her." We have here a definite hierarchical relationship that is established after the disobedience. Now it is established, according to this passage, that the man will be in authority over the woman.